Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 2021 New Moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that we're using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Pisces be affected by the October 2021 new moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Empress. So we're changing into a time of being able to recognize and claim our power. Why? Because this is such a chaotic time for us that it's having us look at things in such a new and powerful light. At our root, we have in our inner self, at the root of our inner self, we have the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands, and we have the Seven of Water. So we have passion and creativity. We have an ability to celebrate ourselves coming forward. The Four of Wands is also the Minor Arcana marriage card. We're looking to see what we're married to. Not who we're married to, what we love, not who we love. So this is going to be a time where we are centered on ourselves, not in a egotistical me type of way, but in this way that says, I matter, I count, I'm allowed to be a part of this discussion. I'm allowed to be a part of my world and my being. We then have the Four of Waters, not the Four of Waters, the Seven of Waters, which is leading us to our dreams, is leading us to an oasis, is leading us to a sense of what it is that we love and we need, and that we have kept separate from us for too long because we thought, if I bring this into the light, it'll be ruined, it'll be sullied. We have the Ace of Swords in our emotional self. The Ace of Swords is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, cutting through doubts and fears, having us look at things openly and honestly. It brings us then to the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups has a bit of nostalgia here. Things were better when. And so here with the Six of Cups, there is this sense of embracing our hearts, of looking at what it is that we want, what it is that we love, and not being held back by what it is that we think we should be doing, or the hurtful, negative things that people have spoken over us. It then brings us to our public arena. We have the Four of Swords. We have to give honor to the road that we've walked, even if it's been hard, especially though it's been hard, giving honor to all that we have been through, all that we have endured, all that we have overcome, overcome. And then it leads us to the Knight of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If we have Earth sign energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully in our public arena self. We're going to be defending our prosperity. We're going to be opening up doors to our prosperity and to our way forward and to our ability to move forward. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Pisces needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. The Princess of Cups. Now, we have to be mindful of ourselves. This is a highly emotional, highly energy-packed time. We have to be mindful of our emotions. We have to be mindful of the way that we can viscerally react to everything. Viscerally reacting to everything with just like, this is how I feel, this is how I feel, this is how I feel. We're also going to be around people who are feeling a lot all at once. So, or at different times, like one person will be feeling a lot one day, the other person will be feeling a lot another day, and it can just be draining. It can be absolutely overwhelming. We have to make sure to keep ourselves centered because this moon is so volatile that it's going to be very easy to be knocked off center, to be knocked off course. Now we have our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, listening. So this is the throat chakra. And here with the throat chakra, when we think of the throat chakra, at least I know for me, I would always think of talking, never of listening. But listening is so intrinsically important to being able to have a good conversation, to be able to talk to somebody well and have that give and take. And so with the throat chakra here, we're being told to listen. We're being told to embrace the quiet moments, embrace the silence, embrace the places in between. And that's going to be a really empowering, really emboldening thing for us. Just to be able to listen. It's almost like a superpower because so many people don't do it anymore. Now, let's talk about this moon. This moon is in Libra. This new moon is in Libra. And Libra, here it says, a new romantic cycle is beginning. Why? Because Libra, which is the best part of this new moon, aligns us with harmony and balance and a strong sense of partnership. A new romantic cycle opens with Libra because we open to ourselves, we open to what we truly want and truly need and what we long for within our lives. But during this new moon, the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Mars are all clustered around Libra. Now this brings us empowered energy and intense energy, but it also brings us to an odd place because a new moon is the end of a 28-day cycle, the beginning of a new one. It is a burst of energy and initiative, and it's usually the best time to get things done or to get things started. And so during this time, when we have this intensity coming in from the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Mars all clustered around Libra, we have to proceed with caution. And this caution is going to be astoundingly powerful for us to be able to move forward in. Because the new moon is going to be conjunct Mars. Now, it is so important to come to this new moon with a positive energy vibration, a higher energy vibration. Because what's happening here is that we have this powerful energy, we have this courageous energy, we have this initiative energy, but we need to use it wisely because there's almost like a powder cake wrapped around us during this time. Things can just explode and things can be super intense. If this energy is not recognized and if it's not respected, if we don't respect the energy that is around us, we can easily be led to devastating consequences. We are hot-headed, we are a bit cruel during this time, and what's more, because it is a planetary alignment that affects everybody, everybody's a bit hot-headed, everybody's a bit cruel. People are going to say things just to wound other people, just because their tempers are getting the best of them. And we have to be mindful about this during this time. Pisces, to come to a being, to come to a person, a place, to come to this time with compassion, to come to it with understanding and love of heart and calm of spirit, that's going to be the best way to deal with this moon. Because we're going to find that during this powerfully charged time, we are irritated, we are aggressive, and we need to step back. We need to sip chamomile tea or have a cup of hot cocoa, there we go, to raise our dopamine levels, to make us feel calm, to make us feel happy, to bring us a sense of peace and power and harmony. What we're going to have here is a time where we might need to lean on, calms or rescue remedy to help steady us and settle us. Now, those are two brands that I've used for years. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but I've used them and I do find that they help kind of take the edge off of life through herbs, through natural remedies. We can also use homeopathy. We can use homeopathy and chamomile. We can just start to step back. And stepping back is going to be the most powerful thing, because this is going to be a time where people want to engage. People are itching for a fight. And my goodness, haven't we had enough of this? Haven't we had enough of this energy going around lately? Now, the new moon is going to be Quincus Uranus. Now, with the new moon Quincus Uranus, this does not calm anything down. It brings nervousness and tension and anxiety. We can feel like a change is on the horizon and like we just can't stop it. That's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. But also we have Pluto coming out of direct, we have Mercury retrograde going on. And so with Pluto coming out of direct, we were coming out of a time where we had to hold on to everything, where we were very much needing to be in control. And if we couldn't be in control, everything was just terrible. So what we're going to see here is that, again, we're letting go, but now we feel this huge change coming forward. We're not feeling as if we're understood as well as we needed to be or we need to be. And it can, again, just add to that anxiety, add to that tension, make us feel like this is just too much. So what we need to do is we need to relax. We need to take time for self-care. We need to remember that we matter and that we need to take care of ourselves. It's not going to be, being self-indulgent and only saying, oh, only I matter, only I matter. What it's going to be is saying, okay, I need to take time for me, because if I'm stressed up to 100, how am I going to be able to be anything to anybody else except, angry and frustrated and not a person that they want to be around? Because during this time, we could be a person that we don't want to be around. We may not want to be around ourselves because we're so angry, we're so frustrated, we're so revved up. Mars is going to be Quincus Uranus. Now, what this does do is this increases, again, our nervousness and our anxiety. We find ourselves losing our patience, and we find ourselves just needing to act. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, really doesn't matter. We just need to act. And that's going to be something we need to be mindful of, because we have this rebellious streak to us during this time. If we were rebellious when we were younger, we can feel like we're 16 again. Like, I just want to rebel. I just want to go against all the rules because that's what I want to do. Now, if we were never rebellious, we're going to find this time to be really hard. It is just going to be really hard, because we're going to sit there and be like, everything I worked for, everything I sacrificed for, everything I did, now I'm questioning. Now I'm feeling like I need to fight against it. And why? Were my choices wrong? Was the way that I moved forward wrong? We're going to be questioning everything about ourselves. We need to step back from this. Excuse me. We also need to know that this rebellious streak, this can really corrode everything that we've worked so hard for, all our long-term goals. The moon and Mars are going to be aligned with the constellation of Carvus the Crow. Now, even the stars do not help us here. The stars with Carvus the Crow bring us ingenuity and passion. Those are the best things about Carvus the Crow, is that he thinks outside of the box and he's astoundingly passionate. However, it also brings us greed, dishonesty, vengefulness, spitefulness, selfishness, and aggression with ourselves and with others. We might find that we don't like being around ourselves at time. We can find that negative thoughts tumble through our heads really easily. And this is going to be a time where we have to kind of call ourselves out. It's like, why am I so angry? Why am I so irritated? Why aren't I taking care of myself? Why am I not getting enough sleep or drinking enough water, or, taking time out just to go outside and sit in the sun, or just take time out for me? That's going to be really important. The fixer Algorba is in the constellation of Carvus the Crow, and it brings a kill or be killed attitude. And this is just not what we need. So we're going to find that there's backstabbing here. We're also going to find that this is going to be a time where we can betray those around us a lot more easily than we would have thought possible, than our sense of maybe honor and allegiance and alliance would have given us before. This is going to be a highly explosive time. And I'm not saying this to fearmonger or to get anybody scared at all. I'm saying this because forewarned is forearmed. And we have a really good spread here from the tarot. We have really good prosperity coming forward. But if we do not know that there's this chaotic, toxic energy in the stars above us, in the planetary alignment above us, how do we know that we're just not being unreasonable? Yes, we could be being unreasonable, but there's a reason for it. There's a reason for this tension. And for those of us who are sensitive, we could see this happening, 2 weeks before this new moon, and we can see this continuing 2 weeks after the new moon. Depending on how sensitive we are, depends on how long this energy lasts. Also, depending on how serious we take it and how much we realize the energy of ourselves, what we need, what we desire, the way that we're moving ourselves forward. The Wheel of Fortune is at our roots. We find ourselves embracing a change of seasons. Now, why is this? This could be because this is the first new moon of fall or of spring, depending on where you are in the world. This is going to be a new moon that brings us change, and we feel that change at our root. We can also feel that we're on a roller coaster ride, and we don't know how to stop it. We don't know the twists and turns that it's going to give us, but we know that we have to move forward, and we know that we're looking for something more within our lives and for ourselves. This is going to be a time where we're calling for change. We might not exactly know what the change is that we want. We might not have this clear, bullet point vision out, but we need to embrace the fact that we desire change within our lives, that we're moving for something and towards something more passionately and more honestly than before. And it brings us to the Empress. It brings us to claiming a space where we claim our voice, we claim our passion, we claim our insight, we claim our ideas. We start to say, this is my throne, this is what I want, this is the power, and this is the brilliance of me. We also start to realize that we're pregnant with possibilities, not pregnant per se in a physical sense, though for some of us that might be true, but it's bringing forward and birthing forward this creative, entrepreneurial, think outside of the box spirit and say, why not? Why not move forward this way? Why not look at things this way? Why not, break down barriers like this? Why not embrace my life for me and not for other people? That's going to be a really big thing during this time, Pisces, that we start to see ourselves embracing our lives for us, not for everybody else, but for us. And again, it doesn't mean that we run away from our responsibilities. It doesn't mean that we become selfish and self-indulged. What it means is that we start to look at things and say, I need it to be balanced. I need it to be harmonious. I need to make sure that I matter and not be so self-sacrificing that when more stresses get piled on me, I just can't take it anymore. It brings us to the Four of Fire. And the Four of Fire is this beautiful combination of new job opportunities, new business opportunities, moving house, just a newness, a passion, a sense of the doors opening for us coming forward. But it's also a sense of being able to embrace play, being able to embrace standing beside divinity, being able to say there's more to life than meets the eye, and I get to embrace and I get to move forward in that passion, in that insight, in those ideas. And for me, there's more here than I could ever have imagined, as long as I begin to rejoice, as long as I begin to celebrate, as long as I begin to dance and laugh and love and bring this power and bring this energy forward. And it has us looking at our dreams in a very real way as an oasis. Now, so often we keep our dreams hidden within us to be brought out on those days where we are super frustrated and just want to eat, a box of chocolate and be left alone. And we look at our dreams and we bring them out there like a beautiful pair of shoes or, jewelry that we only wear for special. And we say, one day you'll be here. One day I'll call you forward in my life. One day I will have my dreams be my reality. But right now the world is too harsh for them. I am too stressed and overwhelmed for them. And so this will stay a one-day thing. And now what our dreams are saying to us is, when will that day ever come? When do our dreams get to come forward? Yes, this is a highly stressful time. Yes, this is a time where we are more likely to yell at one another than we are to listen to one another. But through this chaos comes the ability to step back and say, what nonsense is this? What hurtful, hateful aggravation is this? My dreams get to come forward in the world because this is my world too. This is my passion and this is my creation. This is what I love and this is what I need. And so we start spending more time with our dreams every single day. We start bringing them out into the light. We start socializing them with the idea of the bigger world, about more than just the confines of our own mind to live in. And it brings us to the Ace of Swords. It brings us to God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, cutting through doubts and fears, opening up the door, giving us insight and ideas and greater understanding. We start to say, this is my voice, this is my mind, this is what I want, this is what I need for myself, and this is what I've created for myself. The swords are air sign energy. And with air sign energy, we start to realize that the power of listening, the power of speaking, the power of communication, the power of understanding and interactions, well, those are weapons. And we don't usually think of it as a weapon, but what did Cher say? Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. And so here, we're going to be finding out that words have power to them, thoughts have power to them. We start to become more mindful, more aware of our words, of our thoughts, of our intentions, of our passions, of our powers, of our insights. And that leads us to the Six of Cups. Now, the Six of Cups is nostalgia. And a lot of times people say, oh my gosh, This is childhood coming forward, and this is a sense of, just dreaming of the past and dreaming things forward. I see the Six of Cups as maybe a little bit more malevolent than that. A lot of times when we dream of things, a lot of times when we think of things, a lot of times when things come up from our past, it's either because it's so great that we can never copy that again, because the people aren't here anymore in the world, because that time has passed within our lives, but also those times when we look at the past and we have those hurtful, hateful words spoken over us that really change the trajectory of our future, the way we look at the now. And those scars come up, and we're learning how to embrace our voice over the scars, how to say, but no, there's so much more to me than you could have possibly thought. People say children are resilient. Yes, they are. You don't just curl up in a ball and say, it's too hard, I can't do this anymore. At least that's very rare. But what we have here is we have the pains that come forward. We have the fact that all the wounds that compound start in childhood. They start there, and they just get stretched, fractured bigger and bigger and bigger as we live. And as we try to deal, as we take coping mechanisms that we learned when we were very young and try to bring them forward into the world now, and find that they didn't really save anything. They didn't really protect anything. And we're going to be looking at that. And it's like, okay, did we just think that we could be good enough, that we could be quiet enough, that we could be creative enough, that we could be, whatever enough to make everything good? That's a lot of weight to put on our shoulders. And it's never going to happen. Somebody is always going to be disappointed in you. And I know that's a harsh thing to say, and some people might say, okay, that's not right at all, but you can't please everybody. People are always going to have a comment. You could wear the wrong color shoes, and people will, let you know about it, especially if you're on the internet. So here, it's like, listen, I have to live for me. And if I'm bringing up all the pain from my past, compounded with all the pain in my present, compounded with all the imagined pain that's going to happen in my future, because life keeps on going on. And loss is a part of life that is not, something we want, but is something that comes. Whether it's, losing a ring while we're riding in the subway, or whether it's, something bigger, loss is still there. And so here we're looking at that, and we have to remember to stay in our moment, in ourselves, in our now. The future is completely unknown, and so it can be vastly terrifying that way. The past can never be recreated. And so we have to respect it for that. But we have to stand where we are now, knowing that we're doing our best. And yes, our best might not be good enough. We might be really harsh on ourselves, and this moon does have a tendency to have us be really harsh on ourselves. But we have to come forward to ourselves, first and foremost, with love and compassion, with respect and self-care. Because if we don't, we could fall apart. We can easily fall apart during this time, and it doesn't matter how good everything else is. It doesn't matter what we're changing into and how we're finding a throne and how there's a celebration and dreams to be had. It matters how we're perceiving our present, and it matters the pain that we're walking forward with, because sometimes things are just too much. It's like Atlas. Atlas was punished to have to carry the world on his shoulders, so he would never be able to be as great as he was before the punishment came. Do not let the past and the present and the future be the punishment of the world upon our shoulders, never letting us see the sun, never letting us embrace our strength. It moves us to the Four of Swords. Give honor and respect to everything that you've been through, every hurt, every pain, every disappointment, every anger, every fear, everything that you have overcome, from the fear of the dark when we are little to doing that new thing, or going to that place that we've always wanted to go to, and yet we're afraid to. Now is the time that we look at things and we say, okay, I honor me. I'm braver than I realized I ever was. And I honor the path that I have walked, the mistakes that I have made, the hurts that I have been through, the pains that I've felt and that I've inflicted. Because I'm not perfect, and this world isn't perfect. But I try each and every day to be better, to learn and to love and to be. And it brings us then to the Knight of Pentacles. It brings us to being a warrior of our prosperity, of patiently and prosperously moving forward towards our success, towards what we're building. This is actually a fantastic time to just kind of create, just take all that aggression, all that, energy, and let it out. Let it out on the canvas, let it out on the words document, let it out and see where it brings you. see what becomes of it. We are going to be moving slowly during this time. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight, but it's not too slow because we're the Knight of Cups and we're the second slowest moving knight. So we have to embrace our movement forward. We have to embrace our passion and our ideas and our insights and our dreams and our wishes and what we hold to, what we see as prosperity, and why we see that as prosperous, why we see that as prosperity. Now let us look at the moon during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. At our root, we have beauty. A time for healing. And that's really beautiful. That's something that's really lovely to have at our root. To embrace beauty, natural beauty, inner beauty, the sense of beauty that becomes the fact that we have the face here, the eye, the eyebrow, the line of the face, the lips, and the nose made of nature. So we're going to see here that beauty comes through the changing of the seasons, through the changing of the self, through our inner comprehension and desires. And it brings us to a time of healing. It brings us to a time of being able to open up the door and say, what I've been holding on to is not serving me anymore. It's weighing me down. It moves us to our lunar inner self. We have assessing. A fiery climax approaches. So this is actually going to be a really great time for our inner selves to kind of like look at everything, look at the chaos that's going on and be like, oh, wow, that's intense there and that's on fire there. And oh, wow, that's not working well like that. And we assess this fiery climax that is approaching, this time of Mars being so powerful, this time of conflict and doubt and fears. It moves us to our emotional self as darkness, which is very much the new moon. Your commitment is being tested. This new moon, this energy that's coming forward is testing us. It's pushing us to our limits. It's, excuse me. It is saying, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you're moving forward this way? Are you sure you're going after this? Where is it that you want to be? What is it that you need? What is it that ticks you off? Why is it that you're ticked off? Where is it that you desire being? It moves us then to our our Luna public arena self. And it's fear. And it says, work through your fear. I love that. You can't even make that up. Look at this. Fear. Work through your fear. We can feel caged and overwhelmed and doubtful and chaotic. And as if we can't lift ourselves up. We can't fly free because it's all fear. But now it is time to work through our fear. Now it's time to call it out. Why? Because this moon calls everything out. It is a chaotic moon. It is an intense moon. Is it a bad moon? No, it's not. It's a moon that it's kind of like clearing house. It's like, okay, let's get all the chaos to the surface. Let's look at it all and then push it all away. It's like skimming the fat off of tomato sauce when you're making, sauce. It's being able to, or whatever it is that you're making. It's being able to skim the fat off and be able to have, this richness, this beauty, this something that has been cooking for hours upon hours upon hours. And that's us. We've been marinating in this energy, in this intensity, in this fire for quite some time. And when we take the anger off the surface, we start to see something beautiful has come forward, because now it's time to act. Now it's time to go for it. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is a star, is Aquarius energy, but it's also letting our dreams become a reality. No, that was worded wrong. We want our dreams to become a reality. We want what we wish for it to come forward, but it's letting only dreams guide us. It's saying that it's like living in a dream world. It's living in a fairy tale and not realizing that we're living in a fairy tale, or not realizing that, we're not going after what we want, because in our mind it's so real, but our actions are holding us back from it. We're also going to have a tendency to surround ourselves with people who are really great dreamers, and that can be really awesome and fun, but they dream their whole reality, and that's not where we want to be. Our subconscious chakra message is the crown chakra, is meditation. We have to meditate and connect with our hearts. Our hearts and our minds come together. And that's why we have the Ace of Swords here in our hearts. Our hearts and our minds come together. So we're not all emotion. We're not all, all thought, all logic. We're finding a balance of the both of them. And that's going to be powerful. Our subconscious, oh goodness, we didn't do our subconscious Luna message. Our subconscious Luna message is you and your loved ones are safe. Action. Take action because you and your loved ones are safe. It is time to act because there's a security around you during this time. Our subconscious rooted self is the devil, Capricorn energy. Are we tested? Yeah, absolutely. Are we tested? Are we looking at, addictions and doubts and fears? There's going to be self-coping mechanisms that can actually be really harmful that we've developed. It could be through addictions like, drugs and alcohol. It could be through overeating. It could be through, kind of binge eating and then purging. We have to be really mindful of this during this time because we're going to want to fall back on our coping mechanisms that made us feel safe. Even if they had nothing to do with safety, even if we logically know that they don't ease anything, we're going to find ourselves falling back on them because it's familiar, and that's what we want. We're also going to be looking at, people pleasing. We're going to be looking at self-denial. We're going to be looking at all these different things, again, that are coping mechanisms that we thought if I could just be good enough, if I could just be right enough, if I could just be what other people expected me to be, then the beauty and the power and my life will move the way I want it to. The devil is astoundingly connected with our earth, all right? And so here, and I don't mean that in a bad way, the devil, you can see it as a corruption of nature gods and pagan, mythologies before Christianity swept through and took them over and made and devilified them, and damned them. So here, what we're looking at is we're looking at that connection with the earth, and we're looking at the chaos that it brings. We're looking at the hardship that it brings. We're looking at the hurt and self-denial and hate and everything that simply being alive brings in the negative sense. Yes, because of the power of this moon and the power of us right now to see more of the negative than the positive, but then also in the sense of turning our backs on other people's expectations or unrealistic expectations that we have for ourselves and being able to say, but this is me. This is who I need to be. This is who I want to be. Why can't I be me openly and honestly and proudly and loudly and letting that power shine through? It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and that is the mother of earth. And we have milk and honey coming forward, richness and prosperity and bounty, and the sense of, in the sense of love and caring and insight, the sense of, substance moving us forward, the sense of there is more here than meets the eye, and I am fed on more than I could have realized, than I knew I needed. It brings us then from the goddess of the earth, from this sense of the, the mother goddess nurturing us and moving us forward to our inner self with the Wheel of Fortune once again. Our emotional self is telling us that things are changing. We feel that at our root. It's coming through once again in our emotional self. We feel things are changing. We feel things are moving. We are changing. We are moving. Things are really moving forward for us. And we're going to feel like we're on a roller coaster ride. That's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. The change is coming. The intensity is here. We need to embrace it and know that we're weaving something beautiful. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And it's the 10 of Pentacles. Prosperity that lasts for generations. Bounty and abundance. Wealth, or something we value as much as money, coming into our lives. And being able to say, I am blessed. I am successful. I am powerful. I am prosperous. I am. I am enough. And I am calling forward wealth that might not be the riches of kings, or Hollywood or whatever, but is the riches that have us able to pay our bills on time, that take the worry and the fear out of existence. And that is something extraordinary, to be able to have our feet firmly planted on the ground and embrace what we love, what we desire, and who we are, calling forward generational blessings instead of generational curses. And we see ourselves moving to success and bounty. And that's if we conquer this fear that's here. All right, Pisces. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the complexity of this new moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Pisces, and may you have a blessed moon.